Greetings YouTube, it's Slash2X, and we are going to be taking a look at the Payday 3 beta. I have been playing it a little bit, you can see in the corner there. Long story short, it's Payday 2, but a little bit better. You only have a very early selection of things right now in the beta. There's certain things that are locked, there's a little bit of customization stuff that's available. I've never really been all that interested in the weapon schemes and all that. They only gave you a few weapons to play with because this is a technical test. It's not intended to be like a full-blown cut of the game. They say that this version is from April. I hope so because it is rough. It's not that it's bad, it's just that there's a lot of things missing and a lot of things that are having problems still. I do have a decent stealth build set up here for what you can do in the game so far. It's okay. It's not the best I've ever played, but it's definitely not the worst. The skill system apparently now, you can only have so many skills active, but then you can max out a line for the skill you have active. So for Infiltrator, I can do all of these, and I can do other ones as well, like the hacking, which that's an interesting new thing, CQC. I have mixed feelings about the CQC. Even with these bonuses, it's not really that big of an advantage. If CQC made it so that you didn't have pagers, or I guess they just call them the radio now, it'd make more sense. But if you shoot someone, they have a pager / radio. If you do a CQC takedown, they have a pager / radio. The best thing you get is taking down the guard will immediately also answer the radio, which is nice, but at the same time, what's the point? You should be more careful about where you're dropping the guard anyway, to be perfectly honest. I would like to see a skill right here that just straight up kills the pager. As long as you have taken down the guard quietly and efficiently, the pager shouldn't get a chance to go off. That's my opinion, because they haven't had a chance to hit the panic button. And they didn't fall, you gently picked them up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just kind of my personal opinion. Alright, we're going to take a look at some of the other stuff real quick. They only give us the 4 characters, the core guys. We have basic mask stuff. I did make 1 mask. You can get new slots, as you have done previously. There you go, new slot. This is also something interesting as well. In this particular game, armor is no longer something that just regenerates the whole thing. You actually need to put plates in. So they kind of took a little bit of a hint from some of the other games that actually have body armor as degradable. Not quite the same as your Call of Duties, because you don't carry the plates. The plates are in a bag that you have to then replenish from. It's a little bit of a different system for that, but overall, I kind of like it because it keeps you from just being able to tank a ton of hits, go hide in a corner, wait for your armor to, air quotes, regenerate, and then run back out in order to tank a ton more hits. You can't do that in this one. If you tank a bunch of hits, you need to park somewhere, put armor back on, and then go back out. It makes for a much more interesting dynamic, and it makes it so that the players can't just stand out in the middle of firefights soaking bullet after bullet after bullet. It makes it much more tactical. You actually need to consider where you're standing and where your enemies are at. And me personally, I think that's a really good addition to the game. The secondary weapons are very basic for what we have in the game so far. They have changed how weapons level up as well. Now, whenever I go to customize something, I go to look at it, the weapon itself has a level. So this is experience that the weapon itself is getting. I need to get the weapon itself to level 9 to get access to this barrel. And then 21 to get access to this barrel. So I am level 19 in the upper right corner here, but my gun is only level 5. So I actually need to level the weapon in order to get better equipment. They definitely took a page from Call of Duty for that one. Not necessarily a bad thing. Well, that's funny. The suppressor doesn't actually have a hole. Maybe it's a baffling to block, and you have to cut. The hole gets cut after the first shot. Yeah, right. Oh, here we go. I'd actually unlock this. There we go. I do find it funny that I can attach things still to my weaponry, but I can't actually play the game at the moment. That is funny. Oh, yeah, see, there you go. I could attach all these little new things to this weapon, because I'd used it a few times. And then you can see hip fire spread is improved, vertical recoil's improved. It's a little slower to swap speed, and targeting is what they mean is aim down sight. I don't know why they're calling it targeting. If I were to hazard a guess, it's probably some sort of Swedish English confusion. But again, here's just a little bit of the weapon customization stuff. This one, if I was able to still play the game, I would not be attaching this. This thing is just, that looks horrible. Now, here's the thing. This game runs great. It's smooth, no problems whatsoever. But it loves to crash. And as such, when I load up a match, I need to make sure I split the video so we don't lose it, because this is going to be a mess otherwise. Let's see if it's even still running. This is last day of beta. I think it's still up. I found in the harder difficulty settings, I'm less likely to get fit in with some random person. Yeah, I don't think there's any matches. Yeah, I think they shut this down at midnight on the 7th, whatever their time zone is. That is unfortunate. Well, I can still talk a little bit about the game without the actual footage, just because the gameplay itself is basically Payday. Minor changes. They added the ability to open doors and then close them. Before you could just open doors and that was that. Now you also can close them back, so you do get that little bit of extra sight blockage if that occurs. There are a few other things you can do within the game that have changed, like you can pick up and grab hostages to physically move them where you want them, which is a nice addition, to be perfectly honest, because the pathing in the previous game was terrible. Overall, I was impressed with the game. My, again, #1 complaint is that I crashed constantly. Now, I don't know if that's because I had the latest version of the NVIDIA drivers, and for whatever reason, my 3080 and NVIDIA drivers combined with this game caused it to crash a lot. I don't know. I don't have crashing problems with every other game in my entire Steam library. This one was just constant. Again, it's an April build. Could the April build be the problem because the game's moved on from that? I don't know. The look of the characters, the movement to them, I really enjoy. I do find it interesting that they got rid of the stealth system in regards to how detectable you are. Now it's just you pick your different linings. They kind of went the John Wick route where you pick what thickness you want to have your armor. Like if you want standard lining, that's going to give you the fastest movement option, and then they have light and medium. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of heavy option in the future. I don't know. Overall, I liked the game. I thought it's been a very good experience. Like these micro cams, those were an absolute joy to use. I found them very interesting. ECMs, it's an ECM. We've used them in the past. This just slows them down. It doesn't actually kill them. If you want to kill it, you have to have multiple. The microcam was interesting though, because you could do things like put it on a guard or put it in a place you knew a guard needed to go in order to get to a certain area, so that way you could set up your own camera system. And it was kind of nice to have your own camera system. Since I can't get into the game to show you directly, the ability to remotely hack cameras to gain access to the system, fantastic. That was great. You could also loop cameras from any camera. So if I got underneath a camera, looked up, hacked into it, I could then cycle through all the cameras till I found the one I wanted to loop, and I could loop that camera directly, and it just stays looped. It just stays looped. That's what they're talking about with this runtime, where you get the runtime. It's one runtime to run one camera. I'm assuming later down the line they'll give you the ability to have multiple runtimes. I don't know how that works because it's not in the game yet. There are quite a few things that are like significantly not in this game. For example, if you go look at like the keyboard shortcuts, there's missing string table entry, meaning that they didn't actually program in the names for these particular things. There's like a whole page of them. Like I have no idea what these buttons are referring to, like what they're for. No clue whatsoever. Which is something, I guess. Overall, I really did enjoy it. I think that it is a good game. You can turn off crossplay if you don't want to play with people from other areas like consoles or different systems. Like if you're on Steam and you don't want to play on the Epic Store, you don't have to. which is kind of a nice thing. Overall, I would say right now I'm looking forward to Payday 3. As long as they've ironed out all of these crash issues, I anticipate this to be a very good game in the series. I anticipate this to actually be what people were looking for, which was, let's be perfectly honest, Payday not on the diesel engine and instead on a more mainline engine that's easier to keep updated, easier to keep things running properly. They went with Unreal 4. They didn't go with 5. I don't know if they ran into issues or if they're planning on trying to conversion later. I've heard mixed things about that. Some developers say it's really easy to convert from 4 to 5. Others complain that it is a massive undertaking. So I guess we will find out. Anyway, this was going to be just a quick video anyway. I was hoping I could get into a match still. Apparently, they are not available anymore. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing there now, which is unfortunate. They took a long time to get a lot of people beta keys, myself included. I've only had a beta key for 1 day. They said it was random, but a lot of major YouTubers got keys pretty quickly, which, you know what, good for the major YouTubers. I'm glad that they were able to get in. It would have been nice for some of us smaller schlubs to be able to get into that. It would have been a nice thing. Anyway, that is all that I have for you. As always, I am /2x. Thank you for watching. Game on.